What is going on YouTube? Crobat for the win here today, bringing you yet another Wi-Fi battle versus Ssj9gogeto from my stream the other day. This was an awesome match, a most excellent one, where I finally actually use a Mega Pokemon. You can see an Aggron right there. It's going to be Mega Aggron Palooza. This is that video I told you about before Christmas. And I'm speaking of which, I hope you all had a great Christmas. Feel free to comment about it if you want, I suppose. He leads off with Galvantula. I lead off with Tyrantrum, because Tyrantrum is my Stealth Rock setter-upper. It also is just a hard hitter in the first slot, and it has pretty decent defense. He goes for a Bug Buzz, which is going to do quite a lot, and I go for the Crunch, because I was pretty sure he'd probably have a Focus Sash. And I knew that Stone Edge is prone to missing. That's not exactly a good thing. Well, I switch into Scarf Gengar, knowing I can take a Bug Buzz. I go for a Dazzling Gleam, because I figure it's going to KO. And if he switched, I mean, it's kind of like, it would do some damage to something. Then he goes into Dusknoir, which I know doesn't carry Pursuit, so I can safely switch out. Another thing can have Shadow Sneak, though. I go into Tyrantrum here. Even though he has a Sticky Web, I thought maybe I could take 2 Shadow Sneaks, but not quite, because I'm not really defensive. Unfortunately, it's going to just be fodder, but it did its job. It got the Stealth Rocks up, and did a lot of damage to the Galvantula. Well, his Dusknoir is sitting over there, about full health. I'm going to go into Hydreigon, which is going to threaten him out with the Dark Pulse. He then goes into Tyranitar, which is actually what I predicted, so I go for the U-turn. It's going to do a solid chunk. I mean, this isn't physically... Oh, well, of course I got a crit. But it isn't physically offensive at all. It's timid with a Scarf. So I then go into Aggron. Mega Aggron. It's going to Mega Evolve. That thing looks like a beast. He sets up his Stealth Rocks. You know what? I'm going to say no to that. Go for a Thunder Wave. Make sure everything on his team, or at least this thing on his team, is slower. I go for that big Iron Head. Absolutely destroy Tyranitar. Wow. Mega Aggron just takes no prisoners. This thing is absolutely amazing, especially with Filter. If it didn't get Filter, maybe it wouldn't be as good. But Filter is just the icing on the cake. Well, he sends in Dusknoir, and I kind of predicted that Will-O-Wisp. So I go into Hydreigon, where it can take a Will-O-Wisp pretty easily, especially since it doesn't really matter. The only thing the attack it affects is U-turn, and that's not even meant to do damage. Well, I go for a Dark Pulse, and he actually lives, which is quite unfortunate, because then he gets an Ice Punch off, and after the Burn and Sandstorm, that's going to be the end of... That is going to be the end of Hydreigon. Oh well, that's how life goes sometimes, I guess. Easy come, easy go. I go into Nidoking now. This is awesome Nidoking. This is mixed Nidoking. I bred it with 6 flawless IVs. It took forever. But it's awesome. It runs Poison Jab, Earthquake, Ice Beam, and Fire Blast. I'm telling you, it took a while to breed this. And of course he is Mega Garchomp. He's gonna outspeed and probably end up KOing my Nidoking. But except he goes for the Iron Head, and I live! But nope, I don't get an attack off. He flinches, of course. But that hacks is still not as bad as Steve's hacks yesterday. That's Magnitude on YouTube. If you saw his battle yesterday, it was depressing. With all the hacks. Well, I go into Gengar anyways. He switches out. He goes into Metagross. Now, I go for the Dazzling Gleam. I'm not looking to over-predict right now. Doesn't do much to Metagross, of course, because he resists it. I then go out into this thing. I go into Iron Man, the Mega Aggron, here to ruin lives again. He goes for a Bullet Punch. It does a whole 10 damage. He's going to switch out now, and I feel like I could just go for a Thunder Wave on the switch. That's the safest move. Anything on his team wouldn't... It's good to paralyze anything on his team, especially a fast thing like Togekiss. I then go for an Iron Head, absolutely ruin Togekiss's day. Goodbye. He then goes into Garchomp, which is Mega Garchomp. That's really bad, because that thing has 170 attack. I don't feel good switching out, but you know what? I am gonna wreck that thing with an Iron Head, get a crit, and of course now switch into Gengar, because I wasn't sure. I was thinking maybe he would go for the Outrage or the Iron Head last time. But this time he does just go for the Earthquake. I made a good prediction there. And with Scarf Gengar, I go for the Shadow Ball to take that thing out. Now here's his last, I think it's his last Pokemon. It's Metagross here, maybe second last, something like that. I figure he has the Bullet Punch, but I'd rather not chance in case he decides to predict my Aggron going in. I then go into Mega Aggron. He goes for the Earthquake. I have just a little health left. Yes, I live! It only did about 50 damage, and that's from a Metagross. Seriously, Mega Aggron, you're too OP. I then paralyze that thing, get an Earthquake off. It doesn't quite KO, unfortunately, but that is quite okay, because I still got the boss himself last. Tony Danza, who, since that thing is paralyzed, will easily be able to outspeed and KO that thing with a Flamethrower. Sure, he goes for a Bullet Punch, but it doesn't do all that much. And of course he's Clear Body, so no gooey. But that's irrelevant because Flamethrower is going to wreck that thing. And I get a crit. Doesn't matter. So that was a great game. Ssj9gogeto. There's not much to say other than just Mega Aggron, ruining lives. Same old in the Pokemon world. Love Mega Aggron, and glad I've drafted it for the Global Battle Association, which you probably don't know too much about yet, because I haven't really made a formal announcement about it. But alas, I will eventually. Or you could check out Magnitude or Steve's channel, or you could check out the Shady Penguins channel. They have videos on it. So, by the way, by watching this channel, I know you're all LA Nidokings fans for the GBA. I just know it. And I know you're all going to want to buy t-shirts, so that's what I'm in the process of designing now. All sarcasm aside, why don't we move on to the question of the day. What are your feelings on the delay of Pokebank? I feel that this is very sad, because I was very hyped on this channel. I really was looking forward to importing a bunch of Pokemon and using them in some battles. Unfortunately, without Pokebank, that really limits the amount that I can get. Sure, I got a couple starters and a couple of unreleased Pokemon from Japanese people, but you really think they're going to be trading their Terrakions and their Heatrans for anything not named Lugia or Arceus? No, I don't think so. You're going to see some Pokebank Pokemon in this channel coming soon. However, you're not going to be seeing Terrakion or Heatran for a while, it seems. I don't know when it's going to reopen. My guess is somewhere in the middle of January, but I could be completely off base with that. That is just absolute shot in the dark guess. My thinking behind that is usually server downtime, server outages, those kind of things, usually solved in the computing world within a few weeks. I mean, once again, that could be completely wrong. It could be released on Sunday. It could be released the 3rd of March. I'm thinking in the middle of January. Alright, well, anyways, please rate, comment, subscribe if you like this video. Also below are my last few battles, and they're pretty good, so I highly recommend you go check those out. Also, there's a sub button over there, so it's probably a good thing to click. Well, I guess that's it, so once again, rate, comment, subscribe, brobats. Peace out.